Hey there guys, it's Anthony here at Cutting Edge Guitar, and in today's video I'm going to be talking to you about why scales are important. Let's get right into it. Okay guys, so the reason why I'm doing this video today, for one thing, I've been asked this a lot by my students at Cutting Edge Guitar and my one-to-one students in the studio here, and this is something that is actually a little bit of a bugbear for me that I'm seeing in internet land all the time at the minute. And basically what I want to do in this video is cut through the bullshit. Because it seems to be that you're being fed a lot of crap about this subject at the moment, and it's starting to get quite on my nerves, to be honest. So one of the things that I'm hearing from guitar players in general, or I've heard this ever since I started teaching. I started teaching when I was like 17. And I remember the first time that I ever tried to teach somebody a scale, it was like they wanted to be able to play lead guitar. Unlike any guitar teacher or any guitarist the world over, the first thing you're probably going to learn is the old A minor pentatonic scale. So I showed this to somebody, when I was shown that, and it was like, oh, this will be the answer to how you're going to play like Kirk Hammett or whatever from the music I was listening to at the time. I was like, okay, cool, great. I'm going to get that down and then start learning Metallica solos. Thank you very much. It obviously wasn't as simple as that, but, you know, there's more to the thing. But anyway, I showed this person this thing, and obviously they come back for the next lesson the following week and they hadn't learned it. Well, to me, that made no sense because that's not how I was as a student. I thought, I've showed you something here that's going to get you better. Like, why would you not learn it? So anyway, that was a harsh lesson for me at quite a young age, because as you move through your career as a guitar teacher, you find that generally speaking, that's kind of how it is a lot, right? People like myself who were interested in that stuff and wanted to do it are rare. So I hear it all the time as a teacher, you know, working in schools and that sort of thing. Even with adults, it's easier with adults than it is with kids, but it's still one of those things where scales and stuff like that becomes a thing that guitar players just don't seem to naturally want to learn. And there is this stuff going around on the internet at the moment where you can see there's lots of people giving away like tutorial things that are like, you don't need to learn scales, you don't need to learn scales. And I've got to say that is really getting on my nerves, because the fact is you do need to learn scales, right? And here's the thing, all of these things that are telling you that you don't need them, I know that that's probably what you want to hear. It sounds lovely, doesn't it? It's a bit like the whole, oh, you can become super fit and shredded in 6 weeks. And I tell you what, you're not even going to have to diet. You're not going to have to train that hard and all the rest of it. Sounds brilliant. Who doesn't want that? Everybody wants that, right? I don't want to have to diet. I don't want to have to like not have a beer, and I don't want to be in the gym 4 days a week and all the rest of it, like getting absolutely blasted by my PT. If there's an easier way to do it, of course I want that. And then guess what? There's this thing called the real world where you actually kind of just have to do that stuff. There's no easy way out. The thing with the guitar stuff and this stuff that I'm seeing at the moment, these things that are telling you don't need scales, and oh, you can play just on feel alone, and then there'll be all of these examples of like people like Dave Gilmour who plays on feel alone and all that stuff. But it's like, yeah, he does play with feel and all the rest of it, but you start transcribing his solos and all the rest of it, and it's always the minor pentatonic scale that's being used, or it's like the Aeolian mode, which has that minor sixth that sounds like exactly the kind of mood he's trying to create at the time in that solo. It's all in there. Now, he might not know that in terms of like D minor, and here's the shape of that D Aeolian mode. He might not necessarily know that, or I mean, I don't know. I've never spoke to Dave. I don't know what he knows and what he doesn't. But when you look at his solos, when he's, you know, when he hits certain these notes, like those bends that are hanging on all that stuff, a flat 7 to a root bend. That's one of the most common guitar things ever within your standard minor pentatonic. and the way I'm hanging on that sixth there and all that stuff, it's like that real melancholy sound. Or you might have a great ear and you might know to go to that, but generally speaking, like, it's going to be a lot easier, right, if you just know the scale shape and you can go to it. You've got that connection between your ear and knowing where the shape is on the guitar. But anyway, one of these things with these you don't need scales and all that sort of stuff, and there's usually like a free PDF that will show you a magic trick that's, here's how we do it without learning scales. And then you start playing through the thing that's in their magic trick, and it will be called something like, I don't know, fretboard heat map, or fretboard trick of doom that shows you how to play stuff having never learnt a scale shape. And instead of being this, it'll be, learn this little block of notes that looks like this and start shifting it up on your fretboard. And they package that up as like, you're not learning scales right now. And I'm like, yes you are. That's A minor pentatonic still, but what you're doing is you're playing it in different locations. So the notes of A minor pentatonic, A, C, D, E, G. So if we start on this note here, this is a G, the flat 7 of your A minor pentatonic, we're going to go flat 7, root, minor 3rd, 4th, then we're going to slide up to the 5th, flat 7, root, minor 3rd, 4th, slide up to the 5th maybe. You know, however it is that they want to put these things out there, and they'll tell you that you're not learning scales. Yes, you are. And then the next thing, of course, is, oh, you've learnt this magic trick in A, but if you want to play it in B, you just move it all up 2 frets. And how magic is that? Well, it's no more magic than actually just learning the scale, is it? Now, also, the thing is this. When you look at something like the minor pentatonic scale has 5 different shapes. So if I do my A minor pentatonic, right, shape 5 starts here. Then we've got shape 1, shape 2, shape 3, shape 4, shape 5 again, shape 1. Like, it lives all over the whole fretboard. These magic shapes that they're showing you is just using, like, that's just using certain bits that you're extracting from these other shapes. So the fact is, you're learning scales. Now, go back to like the Dave Gilmour thing. Well, maybe not him. Why do I have to pick on him? I'll pick on anyone else. He's a name that gets mentioned to me quite a lot. But I think the thing is this: if you're someone you're playing your melody notes here, and you can hear that you want to go here next, and then I've just made it. Let's just come up off the top of my head. But let's say if I'm just like, here's my melody. Always sounds nice to write a melody along the length of a single string, I think, because you get that sliding around and all the rest of it. But let's say I've just come up with that melody. Whether you like that melody or you think it's a whole load of crap, that's not the point of what I'm talking about here. This will be someone will do that and then will go, oh, I'm playing this purely on feel, and I felt that I wanted to go up to my 7th fret. Yeah, and it was like, it felt right to me to go to the 10th fret, back to the 5th, back to the 7th, and that stuff. I don't use scales. Oh, right. So what you're going to tell me is that this A, this D, this C, and this F don't belong to a scale, no? Well, they do. They belong to the A natural minor scale. You might not have played them because you were thinking about a scale shape or something like that, but absolutely, you haven't invented something that doesn't already exist. You're playing within a scale. So I think here's another point with this. Like, scales aren't bad. They're not going to do you any harm. You know, this whole, oh, if I learn too much scales or theory or something like that, it's going to kill my feel and it's going to ruin my musicality. Well, name me a world-class virtuoso, wicked guitar player that has great technique, knows their fretboard inside and out, and knows loads of theory and all that sort of stuff, and has no feel. Do you know what? As I'm thinking, I've said this, the guy that's name is going to come up, it'll be Malmsteen. Yngwie Malmsteen's got loads of technique and he's got no feel and all the rest of it. And I'll tell you what, I'll say with this, I love Malmsteen. I think Malmsteen's great. And there will also be people that will go, oh, he's an arrogant, egotistical, whatever they want to call him. What's that got to do with his music? I don't know. Like, if you don't like the guy, fine, but you can't attack his guitar playing because you think he's an arsehole. So the thing is, right, yes, he's got loads of facility, he's got, he knows his fretboard inside and out and all that sort of stuff, and it's killed his feel. Well, here's the thing. Have you never felt excited? Big question, right? But here's the thing. People always assume that feel on the guitar is about playing really slowly and stuff like that. Well, yeah, because, you know, being in love is a feeling. Being sad is a feeling. Being really emotional and passionate and all the rest of it, that's all feelings. So's being angry. So's being excited. So's being, you know, pumped up. They're all feelings. And that's what you hear in Malmsteen's music. It's pumped. It's aggressive. It's exciting. It's still just as passionate as the Dave Gilmour stuff, but it's passionate the other way. It's fireworks and histrionics. It's not, I want to make you cry or, you know, whatever. So I think that's another thing where guitar players, they get really confused about what feel is and all that sort of stuff. But so the absolute key thing here, why scales are important. I think for most people that are going to come to me for a lesson, and obviously, you know, people that are learning through my platforms and, you know, all of the different stuff that I do, my technique books and, you know, all that stuff. I've been teaching for a long time and I've seen a lot of players over the years, and generally speaking, this is the number one problem that comes out all the time, is the whole, I don't know where the right things are on the neck. I just don't know what to play. Or like, I'm stuck. I don't have the musical vocabulary. You know, that's the thing. It boils down to I don't know what to play. Well, I'll tell you right now. If you know your fretboard inside and out, you've got a good working knowledge of the genre of music that you like, and you've got a technical facility that will allow you to execute the ideas that it is you want to play, no matter what style of music it is. You'll be able to do what you want to do. I'm pretty sure that trying to achieve those things, not learning scales, is not the answer. Because trust me, if I thought that I could get away with not learning all of that stuff and just get straight into guitar, like, I would have done that 15 or 20 years ago, like, because everyone loves the easy option. But I think, guys, the point that I'm making is you just got to be really careful about what people are sort of selling to you, so to speak, because, you know, like I say, people want to give you these magic tricks, but then you go through the back end and then all of a sudden they're going to tell you the same. You've got to learn your fretboard, you've got to practice your technique, you've got to do this. There's no shortcut. You've just got to put the work in, and if you do these things with a really targeted approach, it doesn't have to take that long. I mean, I've seen people that have been playing guitar for 20 years, 30 years even sometimes, and they have lessons with me for 3 years, and they've achieved more in that 3 years than they have in 30 years. And that's not because I'm not going to sit here and say to everybody, I'm the best guitar teacher in the world and all the rest of it, blah, blah, blah. I would love to be. Let's be realistic. So the fact is, though, I think I do come up with really good, genuine methods that get results for people. And obviously you can see that in my testimonials all over at Cutting Edge Guitar and all that sort of thing. But, you know, I can't turn around and say to people, in 6 weeks you're going to be a shred demon, because that's just bullshit. It is absolute bullshit. If we could do, like, you know, if you can become world class at anything in 6 weeks, we'd all be doing it. It ain't that easy. But like I say, if someone's been doing something for 30 years and they still haven't got the results that they want, there is a way to develop targeted approaches to that stuff, and you know, give you the inroads to get the results that you want. So, talking of which, drop my plectrum. Talking of which, with that, the Cutting Edge Guitar Masterclass is a free mini course that I've just published at Cutting Edge Guitar, which will reiterate a lot of the points that I've made here and show you what the pathway is that I use with my students to get them to the results that they want to have. The links are below in the description, so check that out. Also, if you want to support my channel, you can do that as a member over at Cutting Edge Guitar. You can purchase any of my technique books or anything like that. If you become a member at Cutting Edge Guitar, you'll be able to ask me questions that I'll be very, very happy to come in here in the YouTube channel and answer. Okay guys, thanks ever so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.